None of this work we do alone. We work with the economic development folks, at the government level. We work with SBDC and, chambers of commerce, all of the folks who are already supporting entrepreneurship and the building of the ecosystem. And it's through partnership that we're able to do the work that we do.
Welcome to Forward with NACCE, Inspiring Entrepreneurial Action, a podcast that shares the stories of everyday entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial leaders, and the communities that support us. We hope that this diverse collection of stories brings you inspiration, inspires you to take action, and ignites entrepreneurship in your community as we make our way forward together.
Welcome to this episode of Forward with NACCE. I'm Rebecca Corbin, President and CEO of NACCE, and I'm really excited to have a very special guest in our studio today, Kathy Deacon. And she's doing incredible work as a change agent, an entrepreneur, all kinds of different things around opening up opportunities for others. So let's jump right into it. And Kathy, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience today? Tell them a little bit about you and your background and what brought you to doing the work you're doing today.
Okay, so Dr. Corbin, first, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today. Love the work that you guys are doing in support of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship all around the region. I'm Kathy Deacon. I'm currently serving as the Vice President of Business and Resource Development at the Advancement Foundation, and we can talk a little bit more about that. Delighted to be in the role. Started out my career a long time ago, too long ago, I think, in Washington, D.C., doing project work for several large consulting firms and supporting, really, it was kind of in the energy space, but supporting entrepreneurs, women who are looking to make their way forward. All of that work was in international development. And that work really kind of paved the way for me to understand that, there are folks from all walks of life who want what we all want, right? A better path forward. And served in many different roles in Washington, D.C. and in the international space for about 15 years, maybe closer to 20. I don't know. And kind of felt like I wasn't connecting with the communities, where I was living myself. And so wanted to bring some of the skills that I had learned over the years into local communities. And so left the international space and working for consulting firms to move into, I started a small consulting firm doing some pretty basic economic development work in Baltimore, and just fell in love with being like really local and really connected and knowing that I could make a difference with so many other folks who were working with entrepreneurs. And, I'll stop to say, my role model was really my dad. He had an 8th grade education, left school when he was in 8th grade, went into the Coast Guard to support a family who had come over from Germany. And watching him through the years start businesses and, some of the struggles and the joys that entrepreneurship bring, I think really instilled in myself and all of my siblings this attitude of, man, how can we forge our own futures, and while also impacting, and helping bringing others along with us. So, I owe kind of where I am in my own mindset to my dad. And he's not been with us for a long time, but boy, is his spirit alive in all of his kids. So, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think about that, Kathy, with my my grandfather, who also, he was in the Navy, but same situation, had I think a 7th or 8th grade education, but knew how to build houses. And I mean, one of the smartest people I've ever known in my life. And I agree with you 100%. Those folks are with us, maybe not in body, but definitely kind of cheering us on and supporting our work. And I had mentioned to you a little bit earlier this morning, I read this great article about you. It was in your local newspaper, September 22nd. I think that's when you took on this new role, and it was exciting to read about. And it was equally exciting to me because Martinsville, Virginia,
Mm.
as you know from your work, is the home of Patrick and Henry Community College. So they are an active NACCE member, one of our entrepreneurial colleges of the future. So I'm actually here. We're recording from Asheville, North Carolina, and they just received a wonderful award for their innovative work. And much of what you described about entrepreneurship and supporting them, particularly veterans and others, is a lot of the good work that goes on in community colleges. But I want to jump in for a second and have you talk a little bit about what you're doing now. Explain to us the new organization that you joined, and I understand their mission might be agriculture and innovation, if I read that correctly. But just bring us up to speed on what is the organization, what are some of the objectives, and what are you focused on now?
Yeah, and I will just say congratulations to Patrick and Henry Community College on their award. I look forward to hearing more about what they're doing. I left Martinsville. I did some work in Martinsville as the executive director for Uptown Partnership, and during that time, I got the opportunity to work once again with Annette Patterson of the Advancement Foundation, who's doing some pretty incredible work and has been for a number of years in the entrepreneurial space. And we had an opportunity while I was in Martinsville to reconnect. And for a lot of different reasons, I felt like it was probably time for me to come back to Stanton, where I had landed for a number of years. I've got family here. And after some conversations, Annette and I decided that it may be a great fit and great timing for both of us to kind of join forces. The Advancement Foundation was started as a nonprofit organization in 2007 with the idea of supporting entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship in small and rural communities. And in about 2015, Annette and her team then started what's called the Gauntlet program. And it's a business planning and competition program. Started out in Benton, very small. I think had about 15 entrepreneurs who went through the program at that time. And since that time, there have been close to 1,000 entrepreneurs who have gone through the business planning and competition program. And, while there are many of those programs successfully doing and supporting and providing resources to entrepreneurs all over, the country, one of the things that I found particularly interesting about the Gauntlet is that it's not just the business planning competition over, since 2015. So now getting ready to move into the 10th year. So we just finished up the 9th year, and they are really excellent and have been developing this network of mentors for over 10 years now. And so there are mentors who support entrepreneurs as they're going through the business planning program. It's a 10-week program, which started out in person. And, 2021, as it did a lot of things, provided this kind of cool, disruptive opportunity. And so everything has been taken online. The class portion of it has been taken online. But the interesting piece to me is the fact that there are close to 300 industry and sector experts who support the program and support the entrepreneurs with their own expertise. And that has been really critical. I know in my own life and my own journey, it has certainly been mentors and people who had experience that I didn't have, was looking to have, that supported me along my way. And, many of those mentors continue for me today, and we are seeing that with the program as well. So we are now in 50 communities. The Gauntlet is in 50 communities across Virginia, expanding really, truly, monthly. We're talking to new communities who are interested in figuring out ways to support entrepreneurs and growing their entrepreneurial ecosystem. And one of the exciting things that happened this year is through a partnership with Opportunity Southwest and UVA Wise. We just expanded into all of Southwest Virginia and had a really successful kind of beta test first year, and are looking forward to growing that program in that area as well. And I think one of the things that feels so important to us is a real focus on small and rural communities. The Northern Virginias and the Richmonds of the world, they get a lot of resources, and kind of things are directed to those communities. And so for us, it's really important to ensure and to work with other partners. None of this work we do alone. We work with the economic development folks, at the government level. We work with SBDC and, chambers of commerce, all of the folks who are already supporting entrepreneurship and the building of the ecosystem. And it's through partnership that we're able to do the work that we do.
Yeah, I was thinking as you were speaking, Mountain Gate Community College, Dr. John Rainoni, I'm actually here with him as well. Oh, there's your kitty cat. For those looking at the video
Yes,
version.
yes.
We get to meet each other's pets. That's one of the benefits of the Zoom culture.
It is.
Anyway, he speaks a lot about the Gauntlet and what a great model it is. So, kudos to you for working to scale that opportunity, especially in the state of Virginia. You have a new chancellor there
Yes.
who came to you from from Pima Community College. So
Yes.
he's a real champion of entrepreneurship and innovation, I'm sure, as you know. So there's a lot of good things going on there. So as our time kind of winds down here, I would love it, Kathy, if you might share with us some of your aspirations for the future. You've had some really rich experiences, and now working with this nonprofit to try to build this. Where do you see all of this going in the next couple of years?
Yeah. So for the Advancement Foundation, we kind of have built, kind of a three-pronged stool. So it's uncovering resources, so identifying assets that already exist, like, the chambers and small business development centers who are already working in the ecosystem development that we can continue to work with and cultivate the building of those systems, and that we can also uncover new resources that may not have been uncovered to date. And so it's the resources, it's certainly programming. So we're working now on developing kind of a side, we call it our entrepreneurial hustle, right? A side hustle where we'll focus on more of the STEM focused businesses. So science, technology, engineering, and anything involved in math. So kind of a two-pronged gauntlet program where we'll have our typical Gauntlet program, which, you can come through with an idea, Main Street. And right now it's set up to also accommodate technology focused businesses, agriculture. But what we see is there are some different needs in the STEM sector. And so we're looking to develop out a program that is specifically focused on folks who have ideas or, emerging businesses or businesses that are established and looking to grow. So certainly looking at development of additional programs that really support both the entrepreneurs and the communities that they're from. And then, of course, placemaking. We had the great fortune of being able to work with the city of Buena Vista to purchase, a vacant almost 40,000 square foot old manufacturing building. And we are really working hard on developing that into a space where ag businesses and high growth businesses have a place to land. So looking in other communities as well, what are the opportunities that exist to create kind of some accelerator spaces, some hub working spaces, and, just continuing the work that we do.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart like side hustle or pivot or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. I was in Memphis last week as part of a convening through the University of Memphis on an NSF grant. So it's their acronym is the Integrity Grant, but it's really focused on entrepreneurship for underserved communities. And one of the things I learned is, there's about $80 billion that's being kind of pumped into these
Yeah.
programs, and really thinking about how can we seize this opportunity to really make a difference in our communities everywhere. So I'm really excited to see what will come of that, and I hope you'll come back onto our program maybe next year and give us an update on how things are going with the Gauntlet, and I'm sure we will probably bump into each other. I hope so in person, but just want to thank you, Kathy, for your leadership and sharing your story too. We get to talk to a lot of really wonderful guests that share a little bit about their paths, and that's one of our objectives with Forward with NACCE, that you might hear something on this podcast that will inspire you to take action. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, and best wishes with your bold plans as you move forward.
Yeah, Dr. Corbin, thank you so much for the opportunity on behalf of, the entire Advancement Foundation team and all of the folks who were involved in the programming. Entrepreneurship and the building of the ecosystem truly takes a village, and we don't do any of this work alone. So thank you for all that you do as well.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you will continue to explore the many ways to define entrepreneurship with NACCE as we celebrate opportunity, failing forward, and success, learning from one another along the way. Subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform and follow at NACCE on social media, and learn more about us at nacce.com/podcast. Stay tuned for a new episode each week. We look forward to making our way forward together with you.